So let's get this party started. And we got Annie Brown with some really good topics today. Where the party at?
Right here, baby. Right here. It was
It's right here.
the week
It's right here.
last
It's
month.
right here. It's right here.
Now we got Annie
It's
Brown.
right here.
What's up, Annie Brown? What you got?
Annie Brown says the party is right here. And it ain't going nowhere. And we ain't going nowhere. And we are here to stay. So Annie pulled out this first topic about retired NBA player Gilbert Arenas. Gilbert Arenas was a very successful NBA player when he played basketball in the NBA. He played at the top of the key. Was an upstanding guy, and I still look at him as being an upstanding guy until they prove me wrong. But it looks like a few days ago he was arrested, and he was arrested for supposedly, allegedly being involved or heading off a poker operation in Los Angeles. And it looks as though that, to tell you the truth, I think if they say what they have on him is solid, I think he's in deep doo-doo. I really do think Gilbert Arenas might be in some deep doo-doo. So I'm going to start out with Najee, and I'm going to have Najee backtrack on Gilbert Arenas' career from the time that he played basketball in high school up until the time that he was arrested 3 days ago. Can you kind of summarize his career in a nutshell? Because I know I watched him a little bit with the Washington Wizards at the time, but I never really saw him play a lot. And I know he played for the Lakers for a little while. So Najee, can you break down and sum it up just eloquently about Gilbert Arenas' career?
Oh, but he was dominant, man. He had a very fast, quick first step. He had a deadly mid range, and he was dominant. The little span he had before the gun issues, and then he got hurt real bad in his career. Then it ended his career a lot shorter than what it needed to be. When he was with the Wizards, he had Caron Butler, he had Antoine Jameson. It's just his kryptonite was LeBron, to be honest with him, when he was in Cleveland. Then of course when he went to the Heat, that was really his only kryptonite of actually succeeding anywhere in the East. He dropped 60 on Kobe, and Kobe's my all-time favorite player. He was very dominant, man. He was a handful. Nobody really could check him. He was one of the fastest point guards in the league at the time. And not only that, he was kind of tall for a point guard because he's about 6'3", 6'4". Mm-hmm. So being 6'4" at point guard is kind of, that's like at the bottom. That's the top of the point guards, but also the bottom of a shooting guard. But he also had the strength of a shooting guard too. So anybody that was his size, they really couldn't out strength him. And then the people that was taller than him, he was going right past him.
Right.
Yeah, he was. He'll give you an easy 26, 27 easily.
Yeah, it looks like he played at the University of Arizona for the Arizona Wildcats back in the day, and it looks as though he had a really dominant college career, just as well as you just explained that he had a dominant NBA pro career. And for a player like that to come from where he came from, he was kind of a little bit overlooked in a lot of ways because, I guess the type of program that he came out of, even though Arizona has always been a dominant basketball program, especially back in the 80s when Lute Olson was coaching them back then. But he played with a chip on his shoulder from what I could see. From the few times that I saw him play, he played with a hell of a chip on his shoulder.
He was being overlooked so much.
Right.
And then even when he went to the Wizards, if I'm not mistaken, they had Jerry Stackhouse on there, and Jerry Stackhouse was supposed to be the main dog on that team. So he was never ever to be, that top dog on the squad. Then when Jerry Stackhouse was out the picture, then that's when he, peeked his head out the curtains. And let me show you something real quick.
Yeah. And as far as clutch shots, he was pretty much at the top of the key with clutch shots when he was playing. Yeah. And he did some trash talking as well.
When he do the walk-off three and turn his back and hit and put both his hands up. That's what Nick Young and all the people get
Yep.
that from. I think it was Nick Young, John Wall. That's when he did the little shimmy, even though he missed. Like that's where they get that from. They get that from him.
Absolutely. So I'm going to shift over to Isaiah and ask Isaiah a quick question. I mean, what do you think about that gun incident in the locker room with Gilbert Arenas that you can kind of summarize for us?
Well, I just think, man, this guy's got to be more responsible. First of all, when you come inside of an organization like that, and it's a private thing where most of them allow them to do something where they can have some type of protection with them, but it's just unfortunate when you guys don't have the fortitude to be responsible for it and to get charged with stuff like that with having a firearm. It's just unfortunate. I think Gilbert Arenas has made some terrible choices in his life, man, and this upcoming thing with this new current charges for him, I think that's going to be some serious issues coming down, man. As you see what happened to Pete Rose and all of these guys who bet on sports, it tarnishes all the great things that they've done throughout the span of their career.
Right.
And for him to actually leave basketball and then have these shows where there's a podcast and he, make appearances on different networks, it was kind of cool to see him do it. But then now you turn around and you get in some type of trouble like he is right now with this betting and all these allegations of things that he's done. It's going to put a tarnish on his career, man. All the things you just listened to Najee talk about and the team he's played on and the success he's had, all that stuff going to go down the wayside if these charges hold. Ultimately, he might find himself in jail because people are being devastated by these things because they think everything is fixed anyway. And then when you got guys betting on certain sports, it almost as if, the fans are being bamboozled. So these things of this sort has to be corrected. And current players, and even, players from the future, they got to realize how troubling that is to get caught in a situation like this, because not only to land you in jail, it just tarnish your name and your legacy. So he's up for a tough road, man. I mean, I can't wait to see how this thing unfolds because I hadn't heard his side of the story yet, but it's coming. He's got to be prepared for it. He better lawyer up and get some good legal advice because it's got a snowball coming his way.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well stated. It says it looks like the gun incident was due to a dispute he had with teammate Javaris Crittenton over a card game. Ironically, right? Over a card game. And it leads to him bringing actual guns in the locker room, allegedly. Multiple firearms. What followed was a suspension, federal charges, and the NBA slamming the brakes on his career pretty much, according to the information that's alleged it happened in that locker room. That was a very bad choice on his part. Very bad decision on your part. When you're a professional, there is no place in any organization to be carrying in firearms for whatever reason. I don't care if it's legal out in the state to carry firearms inside of a building. You should not carry firearms outside of your house, as far as I'm concerned. That's just my 2 cents.
And that's the situation that now, I don't know if you ever see any basketball game when they hit you with the metal detector now. Like you see all the athletes have to go to the metal detector as if they're TSA, as if they're going to the airport. You see how they do the athletes like that? It really started with that when they because I'm pretty sure he probably wasn't the only one that ever did it. So guess what? You know what? We're gonna keep the rest of it quiet because now we're kind of looking bad just with Gilbert Arenas alone. So now you probably had multiple other athletes that were bringing in weapons.
Right.
So we're gonna keep that because we're not gonna seem like thugs or whatever. So we just gonna make an example out of him, and we're gonna continue to have everybody getting checked in as they come in. Now, what makes it worse for Gilbert Arenas? Now you see how they just did Shannon Sharp. He paid this woman off to get off this situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now that $100 million that was coming his way, not coming his way no more. Not. And now he just got fired, right? Now, Gilbert Arenas was just starting with first take, and he was supposed to be there with Shannon also. Now, yes, I told you this last week also. You get in trouble, you work with ESPN, you're getting out of there. So I'm pretty sure that Gilbert Arenas is gone too. I'm pretty sure he's gone too.
You know, the sad state of the story about a lot of these professional athletes, man, they're living charmed lives, at least from my perspective. You know, you get up, you don't have to worry about anything financially when you wake up in the morning like a lot of people do. I mean, a lot of people wake up trying to figure out how to pay their rent, how to figure out how to pay their car note, how am I going to get my next, C note for food, things of that sort is just things to keep a person off balance so they can't even think straight to try to think about anything creatively. And then you have a guy like Gilbert Arenas, and I'm not throwing any shade on Gilbert Arenas. However, you make a decision to run a card game or a poker game under those conditions. That's a bad choice. I mean, it's just a bad choice all the way around, no matter how you look at it. And I don't understand how you figure you could keep getting away with that over time. You know, if it's one thing, professional athletes gamble all the time. You know, Charles Barkley ended up having to go back to a casino in Las Vegas to get his bills paid off with that casino. That wasn't anything out of the ordinary. These guys go in, they give them a credit. You know, they give you credit, just like a credit card. You can gamble as much as you want on that particular credit, and then if you keep losing, you owe the casino, you owe the house. That's kind of how that works. Mm-hmm. There's nothing illegal about that. There's nothing illegal about having a poker game, you know, once a week or something like that. But from my assertion of it, for the state and the feds to get involved in it, it had to have been an operation bigger than just your little fly-by-night type of gambling operation, right? I mean, if you think about it, it had to have been organized to a point, which I read yesterday, that it was so organized, they had security outside. Basically, allegedly, they ended up having cocktail waitresses serving the guests and things of that sort, you know, allegedly. So, Isaiah, if it's that big of an operation, how do you think you could keep getting away? Tell me about that.
You can't. It's just a matter of time. You can't get away with it. I think it's dumb. It's stupid, man. And you know, especially how old he is. He's seen this stuff, man. He's seen this playbook before, man. It's just ignorant when you do something this heinous. And not only that, I would think a young guy who came in the league and did not know better would do something like this. But a guy who's older, who's been through it, who's seen it all, trying to conduct something like a scheme like this here, he ought to be ashamed of himself, man. Now the things that he did have cooking legally is at a standstill, or either gone away altogether because of this legal trouble he finds himself in. I just don't understand the mindset of these people who think they can get away with doing stuff like this. I mean, it might be a quick way to make a couple bucks here and there, but ultimately you're going to get caught and it's going to bring down the whole operation, and then you're going to lose everything. I mean, this guy is going to be in some serious trouble, man. And it's this stuff, when you got the feds involved, that means there's been some investigations going on for a while. So he's better lawyer up, bro. He better get a good set of lawyers to go in here and fight this thing. Otherwise, he might be like this, a clink. Yep.
Yeah, it looks like he made $160 million over his NBA career. And his net worth right now.
When he was with Adidas.
Exactly, because he did have endorsements as well. So you ask yourself, why would you put yourself and your family at risk of these problems that he's facing right now versus that you had money and you basically didn't even need to worry about anything like that? I understand if you were running low on cash or whatever. Or I don't even understand that, because there is no place to be doing anything that's considered or deemed illegal in any state or any country for that matter. So let's just say he was desperate and did need the money. That wasn't a way to go to try to get the money. I mean, honestly. And what the federal authorities usually do is they infiltrate you. They'll send somebody in there, because from what I was reading also, that you had to actually buy in to being able to go into there to play poker. I mean, so if you're getting introduced to people, you don't know who these people are. You don't know what connections they have. And I also suspect
that locks it in. If you got to buy into it, that locks it in.
Yes.
You can't wiggle your way out of that one, bro.
Exactly.
The person had to buy himself in there, so that means he's got some kind of receipt. To get in there.
The feds have the receipts. Yeah. The feds have the receipts. And then
they probably lost their shirt and started snitching.
It's always seems somebody is either a snitch or they foolishly get it out there. Look, I've been over there at this poker house playing, and man, we have a good time over there, man. We got hostesses, and man, they giving people massages and all this nonsense and that nonsense, and you know, it is considered a organization when things like that happen. You know, when it's that organized to a point where each level you got people handling things for you, it just doesn't make sense to me. And usually also it skirts the boundaries of other laws. It could be human trafficking involved in that. I'm just saying these are hypotheticals, and I don't like saying hypotheticals. I don't like making and talking about hypotheticals, but they can expand the boundaries to those hostesses being in there I mean, think about it. They servicing people, right?
But you flew them in, and if they got some after party stuff going on, especially
if it's an after party, baby, you know where the after party gonna be, right? Yeah.
Got a little oil and stuff back.
Yeah.
Baby oil going back.
Got the baby oil and the whole 9 yards, and bringing it in by the truckloads, right?
Yeah.
So it's a serious matter. I'm not laughing about this because Gilbert Arenas has a serious matter on hand right now that he didn't have when he was playing NBA ball, even though those illegal firearms, I mean, or should I say firearms he had in the locker room, I mean, that was one thing. But when you have a situation where, you know, you got organized, they can attach it to organized crime as well, because if anybody that was in there playing that was part of an organized crime syndicate, that could be taken into consideration too. So what the federal system usually do, to my knowledge and to my experience, they make you plead down to something. If they got 150 charges on you, they gonna make you plead down to several charges. And these are gonna be charges that they can make stick to you, that you're not gonna walk either way. You remember that scene, Isaah and Scarface, where he got caught counting money with that money machine, and they had a camera inside the clock on the wall, and he had one of the best lawyers in the business, and the lawyer told him, look, man, you're gonna have to do time. I mean, it's just, you're gonna have to plead down, bargained it, you'll get 2-3 years, but you're not gonna walk away from this scot-free. And that's how kind of the system works, you know. And he had to go to secondary means to try to assassinate this guy, and he didn't do it, and that's what led to the end of the movie. So
no, that was all sloppy.
That was very exactly. So
what the lawyer need to go in there and say to him, hey, listen, man, Gilbert, hey man, listen, they got you, dog. That's what they gonna tell him. They got you, dog. Because if they had somebody infiltrate that thing, you don't know how much time that person spent there. Because the Fed's not coming unless they got you, man. They gonna just chill like this. Let you do your thing, and then that's when they coming. When they got enough to charge you with and make something stick. That's how that works.
And it looks like he was involved in it between 21 and 22. So it says September 21 through July 22 that there was involvement, and they look at him as being the ringleader, you know, for it. And technically, when they say you're the ringleader, that means you organized all of it, at least in my perspective.
That's why I be telling you, when a lot of these wealthy guys have nothing else to do in life, so they just do anything See, this is before he even started his podcast. Now he done started his podcast, and then he was supposed to start ESPN. So now he has things to do, and less time to do stupid stuff. But since he was just sitting on money, doing nothing every day, let's get something to get a thrill.
And it is a thrill. I guess it's a high, right? It's just like driving a car really fast.
Money, you can do anything, man.
Yeah.
When you have money, you'll do anything. You don't have to worry about your next paycheck. You don't have to worry about mortgage, insurance, nothing. You just sitting there doing whatever you want to do.
Get up and drink bubbly every morning if you want. The best Alizé you can drink. You get up in the morning, you ain't got nothing to worry about. Look, I'm going to plan my day out the way I want to plan my day today. But
I don't know about Alizé, but yeah.
You say you don't know about Alizé.
I don't know Alizé though. That's a little fruity drink now. If you talking about some Hennessy or tequila or something,
some good hen, right?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what you talking about, sir.
Yeah.
You say.
And another thing too that's continued to kind of make it problematic is they can actually, I mean, if they said that he was involved in it from 21 to 22, that's a year, literally almost a year. And they look at it like you had time to think about what you were doing. I mean, if you felt like your conscience was telling you, look, this might not be legal what I'm doing.
It's not a one pony show where you say, okay, he was in it for a couple of months and he bowed out of it. Nah, it's not like that. That 12-month span is the fact that he knew exactly what he was doing. He was carrying this thing out, and that's what, it was illegal. He knew it. And we got the guys in there, infiltrated the thing. We know exactly how it was all orchestrated and planned. So that's how those charges came about.
Yeah, and it says here, this was very organized: surveillance, security, silent partnerships, and according to this, Gilbert was allegedly the money man. He was behind handling the money. So if he actually deposited money in the bank and withdrew money from the bank, whether it was in the United States or whether it was offshore, and if it was offshore, it's going to be worse. I mean, it's going to be worse because you were. Obviously, that looks like you're trying to hide something. And then another thing, you skirted taxes. You skirted taxes on this money. So that's where the IRS gets involved. I mean, if they still get involved in that, I don't know what they do now, but.
Oh, if he skirted taxes, the IRS going to get in there. There's two things. He gets to get a good lawyer and then holler mama.
They holler mama. That's usually what happens too when you in a bad jam. You'll cry out for your mama, for sure. So either way, it just looks really grim for him right now. He posted bail. He posted his bail, and he'll be out. At least he's better off than Diddy. I mean, at least he's better off than Diddy. You don't have to sit up in there and wait, right?
That's not even a comparison.
Yeah, you don't compare the two. But then again, if you think about it, if they were to inject, because we don't know what the charges are. I haven't seen the complaint against him. Usually the complaint is usually public. At some point in time, the complaint would be out. Who knows? It could be trafficking in there if they had women in there servicing people.
Right. Yeah, but the thing
he's got a different problem.
That's what I was saying. Diddy once they came and got Diddy, they never gave him a bail. At least Gilbert came out the courthouse dancing and stuff when I seen him coming out of the courthouse.
Gilbert was dancing outside of the courthouse?
Yeah, he was dancing. Yeah. Came out there shaking bullets. You just don't know, man. You might be dancing, getting ready to dance your way in there. That big guy Brutus gonna tell you, hey man, you gotta get on the top bunk. Nah, man, you gotta get on the top bunk, dog. So
you sit down when you.
Listen,
you don't know.
the risks are just unlimited when it comes to the federal system and the state, because the state could possibly be involved in it too. They could have been involved in it because I think LAPD was part of the arrest process. So, You know, it doesn't look good for him right now. I will say that Najee did mention his podcast, successful, very well organized. I mean, to me, he had one of the best podcasts on the internet and social media. I mean, it was very well organized. They knew what they were talking about. Anything they talked about, they tend to knew, and it made sense to me. It's called Gilbert Arenas, and he's got millions of subscribers, you know, and I subscribe to that channel because I enjoy getting up watching him, and I enjoy getting up watching Shay Shay as well, you know. Yeah. And it's kind of a sad state of affairs that, you know, he's in a bind like this, in a jam, and if convicted, he could face quite a bit of time in prison. You know, you go from being a free man one second, and then the next second you locked up, and then you gutted out financially, because these lawyers, when you hire these attorneys, tens of thousands of dollars. Mm-hmm. Some are tens of thousands of dollars a day. Some are tens of thousands of dollars an hour, you know? Yeah. And you look at some of these high profile attorneys, and I'm pretty sure he's got one, or he's going to get one or two of them. You know, look at Mark Garagos, for example. Mark Garagos makes millions of dollars, you know, defending celebrities.
Yeah, when they make dumb moves like that. And they got to hire him and fatten up his pockets, man. I've been seeing this thing with Garagos for the last 20 years, where these celebrities go in there and do something dumb like this and have to hire him and get this guy millions of dollars of their money. Yep.
Yeah, because, you know, he defended Chris Brown when Chris Brown had that incident with Rihanna. Yeah. Many others too. So when you think about how that could be a cash burn, just a crazy cash burn, a money burn, you're going to continue to burn. And if the case drags into a year, you might be in the hole for millions of dollars. You just owe to attorneys, right?
Yep. You know, attorney fees get astronomical, man. All you got to do is ask that boy who got all at his house. Man, he went from like $900 million to like $4 million in the span of a year. Yep.
Yeah.
$900 million to $400 million, and clocking since he's not out. So he's still spending money.
True. Yeah. So Najee, what do you think about them accusing or alleging that Gilbert Arenas was the face of this particular organization?
Well, he's a top dog of it, especially if you're talking about him handling the funds of it, the money. Then I mean, you definitely gonna go down. But it could be, let's say for example, it was my idea. I started everything up. Then you know, then you do security. Then Isaah, he has something to do with the liquor, the bartending. But guess what? If Gilbert Arenas is funding it for us or doing anything with the money, he's gonna be the dog they take down, because he is the big dog of it. The thing what happened with Michael Vick. I'm pretty sure Michael Vick, it was numerous of people that had the thing with Michael Vick. But since he was the top dog of it, they made sure he took the fall of it. He's the big dog of the whole thing.
Yeah. It doesn't you know, look good, especially if he was handling the monetary piece of it, because racketeering and those type of charges could come into play and everything. That's usually what the federal government charge people with, is racketeering, when they suspect or they could prove that you ran an organization, just like you just mentioned Michael Vick. Now with Michael Vick, his cousin was occupying that house with them dogs in the backyard. You know, Michael Vick never really spent very much time at that house. But when his cousin and his boys got raided at his house in Virginia, guess what? They tied it all the way back to him, you know, because the state of Virginia technically was supposed to handle that, and the feds just took it right out of the state's hands, and they took it to the next level. Because if
chasing down no guys who work at Burger King, DC, that's just not the thing. They're gonna give a guy who got deep pockets. At all. That goes with anything that's tied some guys who've got a substantial amount of money. They're not gonna mess with those poor guys. They ain't gonna do nothing but lock them up. What they gonna do? Get a public defender and they'll be locked up. They're gonna chase the guy with the bucks so he can spend some money.
Well, they gonna get them other boys to snitch on you too, because that's basically what they locking them up for. They just want them there to snitch, to say, look, he was the financial part of it, you know, because that's what happened to Michael Vick. Michael Vick's best friend ended up giving him up, you know, to keep himself out of prison. And sadly to say that they can always find people, it seems that they just put him in a really bad bind. Look, it's either you or him. Do you want to be sitting in prison for him? He may tell you, hey, you do 5 years, I'm going to take care of you when you get out. But do you really want to do those 5 years with Big Brutus? Because you might not make it out of the joint with Brutus, right?
That top bunk, bro. When I get through it, you got to get up.
Yeah.
On the top bunk,
So if you relying heavily on not snitching, and you got Big Brutus in there, I think most people would pick the snitching part as a way out. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, DC. They gonna go after the guys who can rap
free that day. If they can be free that day, most definitely they snitching.
Yeah, man.
Most definitely.
Yeah. If they could offer them something where they can, you know, they can actually have them testify against you in court. I mean, that's something that might be a possibility, because usually when they clip those people, they give them time too. They just lower the time that they give them. Look, you facing 20. I'll talk to, you know, the judge, and we can probably work it down to 7 or 8 years, something like that. That's just my assertion, though. So each case is different when it comes to that, when it comes to these type of cases. But unfortunately, it looks like we may be the last podcast standing, gents, because if you think about it, these guys, if they keep getting in trouble, we'll be the last podcast around, right?
Yeah.
Well, make sure y'all squeaky clean, then.
Yeah.
Make sure
No doubt about it.
Squeaky clean.
You better be washing your skin with Mr. Clean, huh?
Yeah, and not only that, you can't be ordering no rear end and then paying them 20 grand. Yeah.
Or ordering no rear end and not paying at all, like you know, our boy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Had an argument and I'm not paying you. Okay, so then you get arrested for not paying and get charged with solicitation as well, right?
Yeah.
So it's no way out.
Solicitation.
It's best if our boy would have went on and paid that tab, he wouldn't have had no problem. You know, hey, here you go. Go on, get this money and get out of here, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll definitely keep an eye out on Gilbert Arenas's case, because I'm pretty sure it's probably going to take it 6 months to a year to even get it into court, because the court system is so backed up now, right? The court system is not, I mean, these dockets are
expediting, DC. When you got money like that involved, they'll expedite that case. They'll get that pushed forward.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They would definitely get that pushed forward for sure. So it could be under, you know, speedy trial is everything in this country too. That makes a lot of sense, Isaiah, what you just said. They try to get you through a speedy trial as fast as possible, which is kind of the norm in this country. So if it's a case that may take 3 months to put together, because I know Diddy sat in there for a year, almost a year. Wasn't he in there last September? Something like that? Yeah, and he just had his trial a month ago? Yeah, so those cases tend to
speed up, because the thing is, he have his lawyers to push it forward, because they paying them to do it. They get that thing pushed forward, then they get these star witnesses to line them up, and then they go at it. That's how that goes.
You've reached the end of another episode of the DC Stewart Sports Talk Podcast. Be sure to connect with us at Facebook and Twitter.com. Your voice is important, so head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave us a review. Catch our next episode.